History tends to spotlight the mighty, Rome, Egypt, and Mesopotamia. But beneath the dust of ancient maps lie entire civilizations that bloomed, built, battled, and vanished, leaving little more than broken pots, overgrown cities, and whispered myths. Some crafted wonders, others mastered trade or built empires we can barely pronounce. Yet most of us have never heard of them. Why? Sometimes it's because they left no written records. Sometimes another empire bulldozed them out of history. And sometimes we just forgot. Today, we're diving deep into 10 forgotten civilizations you've never heard of. We'll explore cities in deserts, kingdoms lost in jungles, and people who thrived on mountaintops or sailed seas long before Columbus. We'll ask what made them great, how did they fall, and why were they buried in time's blind spot? Ready to discover the forgotten corners of our shared past? Let's go. Number 1. The Kingdom of Aksum, the African empire that ruled the Red Sea. Long before Europe learned to sail, a mighty empire in East Africa had already become a maritime and trading superpower. The Kingdom of Aksum, located in modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, was so respected that the Roman Empire listed it among the world's great powers. In fact, Roman coins have been found in Aksumite territory, proving trade ties that reached across oceans and continents. Aksum thrived between the 1st and 7th centuries CE. It was one of the first great empires to officially adopt Christianity around 330 CE, long before many parts of Europe. Its rulers built towering stone obelisks and developed a unique written language called Ge'ez, still used in Ethiopian religious texts today. Aksumite coins also featured Christian symbols, among the earliest ever minted. So, what happened? Climate change, Islamic expansion and trade routes, and overuse of land weakened Aksum. Trade dried up, and so did its rivers. As the center of power moved south, Aksum faded into legend. Today, despite its greatness, most history books barely mention it, but its cultural influence still echoes through Ethiopia's heritage today. Number 2. The Hittite Empire, forgotten rivals of Egypt. When most people think of ancient superpowers, Egypt always comes to mind. But around the 2nd millennium BCE, another major power rose in modern-day Turkey, the Hittite Empire. They were one of Egypt's fiercest rivals, even facing off in the Battle of Kadesh, the largest chariot battle in history, against Pharaoh Ramses II. The Hittites were master diplomats and warriors, but they were also innovators. They were among the first to use iron weapons regularly. Their legal codes were surprisingly humane for their time, offering fines instead of mutilation for many crimes. They even protected orphans and the poor, an unusual idea back then. But despite their might, their empire collapsed around 1200 BCE during the mysterious Bronze Age collapse, when many civilizations fell at once. The Hittites vanished from memory until the 20th century, when archaeologists unearthed thousands of clay tablets written in their lost language. How could such a major empire vanish so completely? That's the mystery of forgotten civilizations. Number 3. The Sogdian traders, masters of the Silk Road. Imagine you're in Central Asia around 500 CE. You're on the Silk Road, carrying silk from China and spices from India. And if you speak only one language, you're out of luck. You need the Sogdians. The Sogdians, who lived in what is now Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, were the linguistic and economic glue of the Silk Road. They were merchants, translators, and diplomats. They didn't build massive empires, but they connected them. They carried not just goods, but ideas, like Buddhism, which they helped spread from India into China. They were cosmopolitan before the word existed. Their cities, like Samarkand and Bukhara, were centers of culture, learning, and vibrant trade. You could find art from India, coins from Rome, and fabrics from China, all in a Sogdian market. What happened to them? They were slowly absorbed into other cultures, Persian, Arab, Mongol. Their language died out. Their cities continued, but under new names and rulers. And yet without them, much of the ancient world wouldn't have been so connected. Number 4. The Elamites, Persia's mysterious predecessors. Before there was the mighty Persian Empire, there was Elam. Tucked in what is now southwestern Iran, the Elamites were building cities as early as 2700 BCE. They had their own script, religion, and artistic styles. Their capital, Susa, later became important to the Persians, but it was originally Elamite. And though they often clashed with Mesopotamian powers like the Assyrians and Babylonians, The Elamites managed to survive for over 2,000 years, longer than many better-known civilizations. So why don't we know them? Their script is still only partially deciphered, and most of what we know comes from their enemies' records. They also didn't leave behind a single unifying cultural identity after they were absorbed by the Persians. But make no mistake, the Elamites laid some of the groundwork for the greatness of Persia, influencing its cities and traditions. Number 5. The Nok civilization, Africa's earliest ironworkers. Long before Europe's Iron Age, in what is now Nigeria, the Nok civilization was creating iron tools, terracotta sculptures, and complex societies around 1500 BCE. These people were some of the earliest known sub-Saharan Africans to smelt iron, without help from outsiders. Their artistic style, especially their expressive terracotta heads, is so detailed that some once thought they were modern forgeries. But carbon dating confirmed these are truly ancient masterpieces. Each face tells a story we may never fully understand. What happened? No one knows for sure. Around 300 CE, they disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Some theories point to environmental change, others to migration or internal conflict. Their cities didn't leave stone ruins, making them easy to miss archaeologically. But their legacy lived on. The Nok likely influenced later West African cultures like the Yoruba and Benin. Still, their name doesn't appear in many textbooks, a quiet mystery waiting to be remembered. Number 6. The Kingdom of Urartu, the Shadow Empire of Armenia. Nestled in the mountains of what is now eastern Turkey and Armenia, the Kingdom of Urartu rose around 860 BCE. It was a powerful rival to Assyria and built massive stone fortresses that still stand today. Lake Van was its heartland, and its kings carved inscriptions in a language still only partially understood. Urartu had advanced irrigation systems and stone masonry. Their engineering helped make life possible in rugged landscape. So why did they vanish? The Assyrian Empire crushed them, and later the Medes and the Scythians finished the job. The people of Urartu didn't disappear entirely, they were absorbed into other groups. Modern Armenians may be partly descended from them, but their name faded into the background until archaeologists rediscovered their hilltop fortresses in the 19th century. Since then, their legacy has slowly emerged from the mountains once again. Number 7. The Tartessians, the Spanish Atlantis. Near the mouth of the Guadalquivir River in southern Spain, an advanced and wealthy society once flourished, Tartessos. Mentioned by the Greeks, Tartessians were known for their silver, gold, and trade with Phoenicians. They were said to have wealth beyond imagining and ships lined with shining metal. Some even claim Tartessos was the inspiration for Atlantis due to its sudden disappearance and maritime wealth. Its coastal setting, riches, and mysterious vanishing have fueled legends for centuries. Their writing system remains undeciphered, and much of their story is still a puzzle. They may have spoken a pre-Indo-European language, unique in Europe. Their art and architecture show a blend of local and Phoenician styles, curved lines, geometric designs, and bronzework. By 500 BCE, they were gone, possibly conquered by Carthage or simply collapsed from within. Their story is a perfect example of how conquered cultures can be erased, even when they were once mighty, mysterious, and rich. Number 8. The Mitanni, the Empire of Forgotten Kings. Between 1500 and 1300 BCE, a mysterious kingdom ruled parts of northern Syria and Mesopotamia, the Mitanni. They were Indo-Aryan in culture, and their rulers had names linked to Vedic traditions, names like Arditama and Shutarna. They were masters of the chariot, skilled diplomats, and major players in ancient politics. They sent daughters to marry Egyptian pharaohs and negotiated treaties with the Hittites. Some even trained horses for war using methods that later spread east and west. But they were squeezed between two giants, Assyria and the Hittite Empire. Eventually, they were overrun and their name was erased. While ancient texts mentioned them, their own voice was lost until modern excavations uncovered their archives and ruins, revealing just how significant they'd been. Now, they're slowly being stitched back into the ancient world's tapestry. Their rediscovery shows how entire civilizations can be buried beneath layers of dust, hidden but never truly gone. Number 9. The Liangzhu culture, China's forgotten engineers. Before the Great Wall or the Terracotta Army, China had Liangzhu, a Neolithic culture that thrived around 3000 BCE in the Yangtze Delta. They built vast water management systems, canals, dams, and reservoirs that some compare to Roman engineering. Their jade carvings are exquisite, hinting at a complex spiritual life. These artifacts often featured mysterious symbols and mask-like faces that archaeologists are still trying to interpret. But around 2300 BCE, they vanished. Recent studies suggest flooding wiped them out, possibly linked to climate shifts. Their cities were buried in mud for millennia, preserving some parts but erasing others. Only in recent decades have Chinese archaeologists begun to fully appreciate Liangzhu's scale and sophistication. But globally, few have heard of them. If they had survived longer, they might have shaped early Chinese civilization in ways we can only guess. Number 10. The Zapotecs, the civilization before the Aztecs. Everyone knows the Aztecs and the Maya, but before them, the Zapotec civilization thrived in southern Mexico, especially around the city of Monte Alban, one of the oldest urban centers in the Americas. Zapotecs had writing, astronomy, and pyramid temples by 500 BCE. They developed a calendar system and a script that is one of the oldest in the Americas. Their glyphs, carved into stone, are still being studied and slowly deciphered. Monte Alban was built atop a flattened mountain, an architectural wonder. For over 1,000 years, it was a center of culture, politics, and religion. From that mountaintop city, the Zapotecs influenced the surrounding valleys and beyond. Eventually, the Zapotecs declined, perhaps due to warfare, drought, or internal decline. They didn't vanish entirely. Their descendants still live in Oaxaca. But the civilization as a whole became overshadowed by the Aztecs and Maya, despite shaping the region long before them. Conclusion. What else are we missing? What other civilizations are still buried beneath sand, jungle, or ocean? The truth is, we've barely scratched the surface of human history. Archaeology is still young. Languages remain undeciphered. Ruins remain unexcavated. And many stories of genius, courage, and collapse are still lost. These forgotten civilizations teach us something powerful, that even the mighty can be erased by time, that greatness can be quiet, and that the past is richer than we imagine. As you go about your day, remember, beneath your feet may lie a lost city. In a shard of pottery may live a forgotten people. In the silence of time may echo the voices of kingdoms we've yet to rediscover. Thanks for listening, and keep digging. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description, and that you'll take a look at our many books on ancient civilizations, such as Hittites, a captivating guide to the ancient Anatolian people who established the Hittite Empire in ancient Mesopotamia. While you're looking, be sure to grab your free mythology bundle ebook while it's still available. All links are in the description. If you found the video captivating, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.